Good morning. So it is currently 4 minutes past 8 and we are sat waiting for the gate to open.
We've been travelling since 4 o'clock this morning to Stansted Airport to get our flight to Porto.
Videoing.
So where are we going?
We go Portugal.
We're going to Porto.
It's honestly like the weirdest experience I've never seen Stansted Airport.
So empty.
So empty and so quiet. Half the shops are closed.
One-way systems.
It's so quiet.
Yeah, where is everybody?
But it's surprisingly not panicky. I thought it was going to be a bit more panicky. I don't feel.
Obviously the thing came in where you had to wear your mask all the time indoors, so like I don't know what it would have been like last week before the mask policy came in. And we're kind of cheating because if you sit in a coffee shop you don't have to wear your mask.
Yeah, considering it's been 2.5 hours on an airplane with a mask, it's going to be hell.
Yeah, we're not looking forward to it. Oh yeah, maybe we should say why we're going to Porto. So we are going to Porto as we got money from the Opportunities Fund to go and work on the food project that is in Portugal. And basically we are going to be volunteering in food kitchens, working with homeless and families that are struggling financially for food really.
And we start this evening, which is really exciting. So we literally arrive, they're going to pick us up.
And we're going to start our adventure.
Super excited, super excited. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, so speak soon guys. Our hostel's really nice. It's actually, yeah, really nice. This is our hostel. I thought you jumped. And this is actually the main road in the city of Porto. I'm showing a little tour around the city. It's lovely. We have some. It's what time is it?
1:30.
1:30, and we have some downtime until 4:15 whenever we go to meet Antonio to start our first day of volunteering. So we're going to go buy some things in the shop, have a cup of coffee, and get in touch with culture. Food. Food. Okay. Hello. Hi. So we are just about to go and meet with Antonio, and we're going to go through the itinerary for our volunteering. So far what we know is that we're going to be doing 2 different projects, running 2 days each. That's all we know so far. So we're going to find out some more and hopefully, fingers crossed. How are you feeling?
I'm quite apprehensive.
Okay.
I think. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I'd be the same. Yeah.
I just know it's so hot. So hot.
It's very hot. It's a lot harder than I think what we anticipated.
But it's all good.
And we have to wear our masks just like the UK, so it's like...
Good job we had a couple of days of practice in the UK actually.
Yeah. Okay, see you on the other side.
Bye.
So, we have just finished our first day of volunteering.
My legs are killing.
Jesus, so what time do we get there? About 6:30?
Yeah, about that.
And we have been non-stop.
It's been like absolute manic, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I think at the start it was like, what do we do? And then
it's kind of like thrown in the deep end, but then...
Yeah, so like basically you're feeding as many people as you can.
I think we pretty much just made food bags for like 500 different people.
if not more. Like, and there's people that come to the place and get their bag of food out the front, and then they go into the city to locations to give food, and then
there's like prime locations that they know there'll be people that are there, and they're waiting for them anyway. But honestly,
and then they go into the outskirts of the city. But like, what did we pack?
Outskirts of the city have hardly anything though. They've already said.
Yeah, that's right. Like if you're gonna be homeless, you're better off being homeless in the city, because then you get assistance.
I think it's really opposite.
Yeah. And there's two food banks like there was where we were today.
Yeah.
They're like so much.
But it was insane how much food that like cafes and restaurants and supermarkets gave.
Donuts.
Honestly,
and the
fact
government.
that the UK doesn't do that.
It's quite upsetting.
I know there's like safety laws and things, but I just think there's obviously ways around it. Obviously,
Portugal had 3,000 tons worth of food wastage.
Yeah.
And they definitely.
The like fresh bread, cakes, pizza slices.
They deliver
everything. They made like rice dishes with like pork and vegetables, fruit,
boiled eggs, just.
Bloody boiled. I think I'd stink of boiled eggs.
Yeah, and fish. Jacob. Well, we're about to go out for some dinner.
I'm starving now. I've seen all this food go past me.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough I get toffee when I want, so.
Yeah. Bye.
Hi guys!
Hey! So this is the day 2 of the food project. We've had some time to kind of think about what we had done today, and
I think the main thing for us, well, there's two like main things that really like caught our eye. For me was the inconsistency of not of the project, but of
the food being delivered for the project.
Yeah, and even in terms of the volunteers, like, so we were told on the first day anyway that there's a set of volunteers that work each separate day of the week, because the work is so hard, it's strenuous, mentally and physically. They only allow people to work one day a week, so they have their separate teams. But actually for today there were less volunteers.
And less food.
But obviously then there's not less people to feed.
Yeah, like there was still a great deal of food, but I think because of our first day and seeing the amount of food there was, and still food being delivered while we were actually there bagging the food, well today, like, there was no food delivered. Like, whenever we arrived, it was the food that was there, it was the food that we were bagging and giving out.
And I think as well, it's wonderful to see things like this being run by volunteers out of the goodness of the heart. Obviously that's a wonderful thing to see for humans to do that. It's very apparent that this should also be statutory in everywhere, because with that kind of stability from statutory, you want to have more of a consistency which is needed to be able to make sure that these people are actually fed.
Yeah. And like today, as opposed to yesterday, I actually went out to the gate and was handing out some of the food, so I was able to have like that one-on-one interaction with the people that were receiving these parcels. And from just the magnitude of the people that are standing waiting for the food, and you're kind of like, do we even have enough bags to give these?
His face as well.
Yeah, like there was a gentleman that appeared, he is homeless, and his face, he had a big swollen abscess, and the volunteers actually paid for him to get to the hospital so that he could receive the treatment. Yeah, because like he was in so much pain. Like it is just amazing to see, like, where we currently are in Porto, just how beautiful and how lovely it is to then go onto the outskirts of the city, and well, not the outskirts, but like a different element of the city.
So the outskirts of the city centre.
Yeah, and just see the people that are there and the help that they are requiring.
Yeah.
So
I think another thing I want to quickly add as well is day 1 and day 2 actually. It wasn't so much like a set one package for like per person or per family or anything. They made these judgments. The volunteers made these judgments for themselves. So, for example, somebody would come and say, I'm here for my family, I'm doing da, and they're trusting each other because they're using, like, the sense of community around here is so much different to how westernised the UK is, and a lot of other places sort of like close to us.
Yeah.
And they're trusting these people, and actually the way the whole spirit of the place is, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
It's quite nice actually.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of our food project, and on Wednesday, thanks, we're moving on to a completely different project. We're unaware of what it is, so we're looking forward to it.
Exciting.
Bye.
What's that white building over there?
That's thing.
We just got a phone call from one of the impact trip coordinators, and due to the impacts of COVID-19 we are unable to stick to the original plan of working directly with the homeless in the homeless shelters.
Yeah, the volume of people with the volume of space is just not plausible with the social distancing rules, which is completely understandable. Obviously, we're working with vulnerable people anyway.
Yeah.
Their safety is the most important.
Yeah.
And obviously for us, we also like to keep safe still.
So we were given two options. One was to travel fully funded for, take us down to Lisbon, which is south of Portugal, or south of where we are, which is the biggest capital in Portugal, and continue working in the food rescue project, or stay in Porto and work in a company or a charity called KS, which is Transformational Workshop. We're not 100% sure what that is yet. We're really looking forward to hopefully finding out.
But however much the opportunity to go to Lisbon was amazing, I'm really desperate to go to Lisbon as well. For us, even making this decision to go through the Opportunities Fund to volunteer abroad through a pandemic was a really hard decision. We really paid attention to the research that we could do about where was safe, where wasn't safe, and although there isn't an air bridge here, it's very, very apparent to us, even more so being here, that it's
Safe.
It's safe, and it's more of a political decision really, as to why the UK are not making bridges in certain places than they are in others.
Yeah, because whenever we chose here, we had already looked at Porto and there hadn't been any cases in about a week, because we applied and got the Opportunities Fund within 20 days before we flew. There hadn't been any cases. There's still no confirmed cases in Porto.
There hasn't been one case confirmed
in about
Porto
4 weeks.
Yeah. Whereas Lisbon, the cases are growing. Sort of down the south of Portugal, so Lisbon, Faro, Algarve, they're all growing numbers. So
we need to keep ourselves safe, really. So
and we're loving Porto anyway.
Yeah,
Porto's so beautiful.
Yeah, we've fallen in love with the city, so we've made the decision to stay in Porto and go to Caius. We'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Bye.
Just finished our first day of volunteering for Caius.
I think that's how you say it.
I think that's how he says. Basically, it's a transformational workshop, and the work that they do there is they take recycled products, turn them into new stationery, notebooks, blah 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 blah, sell it on to other companies so that they can fund their own money for training programs to work with homeless and people that find it difficult to hold down a job or even get a job, and then they also give these products to the homeless so the homeless can sell so that they can make some money.
The company actually is really similar to the UK's Big Issue, so they have a magazine just like the Big Issue, and that's how they started off. I think they said 25 years ago.
Yeah, 25 years.
But I'm not really sure whether the Big Issue have done the same, but they're transforming it and progressing it, because in this day and age not many people buy magazines anymore and things like that, so it's not actually being as beneficial as it used to be. So it's really amazing to see how they are transforming things. Obviously, like environmentally friendly like projects is a massive thing now, obviously climate change and everything, so it's wonderful to see that they're actually putting two things together.
Yeah, like working for the environment and for the people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
making it work together.
Absolutely.
We met a really incredible guy today called Nuno, sorry. And he's like quite high up in the charity. He's also travelled all around the world working in health and social care sectors, human rights and policy making, and he is so knowledgeable, and I think that it was actually quite good to actually have one-on-one time with him, even though we weren't actually directly working with the homeless community. It was good to kind of see someone that was working for them.
It was the first person that we actually spoke to as well that could really have a conversation with us about the welfare state here. Obviously there were other people in some of the organisations that did, but they weren't, I don't really know how to say, their knowledge wasn't sound knowledge. But for speaking to Nuno, he knew everything, absolutely everything you need to know, and we found out, you know, all the information we really wanted and needed to know, to not only compare it to the UK but then to understand why the situation, like the homeless situation here, is so bad, and why there are a lot of sort of places that are run down.
Yeah, and also how they help their homeless community. So here they have hostels of up to 180 beds, and once you have a bed, like, you keep that bed, but if you miss 1 or 2 nights and your bed's gone.
Like, unlike in the UK, there's quite a lot of places that it's not indefinite, that's your room.
And there's only
it's
like 10 beds.
Yeah, and it's first come, first served, and that's in the huger cities, which, although Porto is the second biggest city in Portugal, it's still fairly small. I mean, we've navigated around it a fair few times now.
Yeah, we're doing really well.
I feel like one of the natives.
Yeah, too. Yeah, we'll keep it tuned. Thank you.
trip to Portugal was something I will never forget. I learnt so many different things. First off was that of travelling in a pandemic. Walking into the airport with nobody there was the most eerie and crazy thing, really, but it's something that for both myself and Chelsey was an experience that we'll never get again, and something that a lot of people haven't had, and gave us more of an understanding of the pandemic, and how this affects other people that are having to travel no matter what. Another thing that we learned, which was amazing, was that of the culture of Portugal. Such beautiful, beautiful country with the most wonderful people, so welcoming, so supportive, not just of us being there, but of each other, and seeing how the community that they live in is so much different to us, bearing in mind it's only a few hours flight away. Alongside that was factors that affect the country differently. So in Portugal they have a very, very big religious culture, so it's very centred around the Catholic religion, and this definitely impacts on the way that the country is run, how the people live, and it was utterly an amazing experience. Further on, the activities that we got involved in and the volunteering with the two different projects that we did were utterly amazing. The first one we did for the first 2 days was packing food packages for the homeless. So this included really hard labour for 2 to 3 hours doing this, which was really eye-opening to see, and the people that do get involved, which is amazing. And then on top of that was seeing the people that this food goes to and how the process works, and how the local community and the different companies around the city were taking part. Something that I hadn't really seen before in the UK, saying that from this point in the pandemic it seems that we are trying to take a leaf out of other countries' books, like Portugal, to do so. And our second project was that of, it's very similar to the Big Issue project, and it was so amazing to see how they were integrating people and trying to get them into working alongside people to not only get jobs but to learn how to have routines and how to actually keep a job, which is something that's so important. And I actually just had the most amazing experience and the most amazing time meeting the most amazing people.
Our trip to Porto, it feels like it was so long ago now whenever I look back on it. The opportunity that we had to go to Portugal has really changed my whole entire perspective on how different countries operate to help those most vulnerable within their society, and going to Porto and seeing how a socialist kind of government runs things and how they use their resources there, and also just the generosity of the people from Portugal themselves. They were more than happy to volunteer, and everyone that we came into contact with, you could just not even just hear their passion but see their passion. It was just so incredible. Me and Martha spoke for many hours since our trip about how we could maybe go about implementing kind of change that within our own local kind of community as to what we saw, even a fraction of what we were involved with within Portugal. But yeah, it was an amazing trip, and I feel so fortunate to have been able to have that opportunity to travel, especially in the world that we're in, in the midst of a pandemic. It was just amazing, and to have those opportunities to meet other people, as well as form that forever lasting relationships with the people that we've met, as well as me and Martha becoming a lot closer, having spent, God, how many days did we go for? Was it 4 or 5 days? So it was just an incredible experience, and it's something that I will take into my future career. It's definitely given me a whole different perspective onto looking things, especially doing a social work degree. you know, working with like a completely different sector of people that I haven't worked with before. It's just like broadened my horizons and my experiences, and not even that, like it's also like given me the drive to be more involved within charity work, which is hopefully something that I'll see a lot more of within my future, you know, different projects, and you know, it's about having that understanding of meeting up or building those connections. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to the Gold Scholarship for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.